We are following 3 archaeologists from Grand River Institute on a trek down a small canyon to record a vandalized rock shelter that was recently discovered. In the lead is Curtis Martin, followed by Sonny Shelton and Natalia Connor. Walking down the canyon, you can see pools of water, which must have been the most attractive feature for the occupants of the shelters. Curtis is pointing out an area of eroded ash-stained soil and a small rock shelter hidden behind some trees. In their recent review of the rock shelter, they found some abraded lines in the back of the shelter. Just above Curtis's head, you can see the opening for the rock shelter. As we can see, there are large piles of ash-stained soil and artifact debris in front of the shelter. This was all dug out and tossed out of the shelter. Sonny is pointing out a large rock with monos, hand grinding stones. Curtis shows a chopper and pieces of a metate that the vandals left on the large rock, apparently because they were broken and not of any value. Curtis also found a fragment of a bone tool. He believes that there are deposits still present in the shelter and has pin flagged the depth to be about 40 centimeters in places. Curtis is pointing to flags that indicate the location of a projectile point that was found on the surface of the debris piles, and he believes that the deposits were not screened and may contain other valuable artifacts. Sonny is going to show the projectile point that was found. It's medium-sized corner notched, which dates approximately 2,000 years old. So Curtis believes the top, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 years, was removed from this shelter, but there may be deposits dating as old as 5,000 years old. Above Curtis's head, in those black spots, are some scratched rock art figures. The first is a zoomorph. The second appears to be an anthropomorph, human-like figure. And the third is some etched or abraded marks that may represent another zoomorph. We've now joined a second team of archaeologists from Grand River Institute. On the left, in the blue shirt, is Masha Connor. Next to her is Nikki Palm. They found a cube-like mono, which is diagnostic of a late archaic culture. This type of mono was found in 2 pit structures, one at Battlement Mesa and one in an area southeast of Quebec. It is a rare find. During the survey, the archaeologists pin flag artifacts and record them individually on Trimble GPS units. Natasha Connor has just found another artifact, which is a fragment of a biface. The survey found the site to be quite large and includes an area closer to the drainage. Walk up the drainage in order to lead into the site. There are some of the pin flags with the crew. As you proceed up into the site, you can see ash-stained soil and fire-cracked rock in the center there. Some of the pin flags have already been removed. The crew has completed most of the recording of this site. There are many flakes and other artifacts on the surface. Here you see an overturned metate, basin-shaped fragment. Other artifacts found on the site include 2 projectile point fragments and several well-shaped and ground monos. Here's an example of one of them. Further up the wash, Lucas Poinkowski is recording a metate. Here's another mono. Lucas found a mono, really well-shaped and ground mono, right next to this metate that he's recording. walking up the small drainage onto the upper bench where Masha and Nikki and Natasha were recording artifacts. We find that they've pin flagged more flakes. Over in the trees, something more interesting, 2 large cobble monos. You can see pin flag to the left, a projectile point. All of these artifacts are diagnostic of this late archaic culture, the pit house building culture that lived approximately 2,800 years ago. The water source was that dry wash, which was probably running water during the occupation of this site, and the very reason why the camp is located here. On the left is Courtney Groff, a geoarchaeologist that works with Grand River Institute. All the artifacts are carefully measured and recorded and left in situ.